If you are making $10,000 a month plus and you want to learn how to scale your business, this is going to be the YouTube video you want to watch. I'm going to share with you how I've scaled my business to $142,000 a month in recurring revenue, how I had a newborn baby in the last 30 days, and because of my newborn baby, I'm still running my six-figure a month business, and I only have to work 3 working days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday throughout the whole entire week. Only 3 days I need to work, and I work less than 4 hours per day on those working days. So let me share with you inside of this video how you can do the same. Now, pre-baby, before I had my baby, now my baby was born just less than 30 days ago. She's not even a month old yet. So less than 30 days ago, my wife came and she gave birth to our beautiful baby girl. And before the baby, my business was really comprised of like one-on-one coaching calls. I would do group coaching calls, and then I was the one selling strategy. I was the strategist inside of my company. And I scaled my business to essentially revolve around me. And when my wife came to me 10 months ago or so, and she said, "Hey babe, I want to let you know something." And I said, what do you want me to know? She said, "I'm pregnant." And then she had this gift for me, and she had the pregnancy stick and so on and so forth. And she's like, "We're pregnant." I knew at that moment I had like 9 months to completely revamp my business. And I'm going to share with you what I did to completely revamp my business to make sure that I continue to have six-figure months without me having to be there. If that's cool, stay tuned. So the first thing that we did, before context, the way that my business was running, I was doing a lot of coaching calls. So when someone would buy a program, usually $1,000 plus. So like, let's say that in my company, we have 3 plans, 3 offers that we would sell. We could have a $99 program. Now, this program specifically, in our $99 a month program, we have hundreds of customers in it, in these $99 programs. However, the $99 program has gone up, has gone down. We've kind of tested price points. So before the baby, we tested the price point of $49 to $297 for our low ticket subscription. So on our low ticket subscription, we were testing out different price points. So we were running ads for a $49 plan, $49 per month plan. And we ended up getting like 300 or so before we ended up increasing the price. So we got 300 or so customers on our $49 plan, and then we increased the price to $99. And then we got another few hundred, and then we increased the price to $197, and then we increased the price to $297 a month. And then what we found was that $197 to $297 price point was not the sweet spot. The cost to acquire customers was much higher, and even though it was only a couple $100, sometimes some of them had a bunch of questions and they needed additional calls. So what we did here is we went back to our $99 price point, and we found that the $99 price point was perfect. And let me tell you your strategy for the $99 price point. For the $99 price point, the offer included group coaching per week, weekly group coaching, weekly coaching. And now, in order for me to scale my business without me, what I did is originally the weekly coaching was with only Andy. Okay, it was only with me. And one of the challenges is when my wife said to me, "Hey, we have 9 months left, and in order to make sure that your business operates without you, we still got to deliver weekly coaching, but the question is, does it have to be you?" And I remember I had to reflect on that. Does it have to be me to do the weekly coaching? And so I said, no, it doesn't. So I started implementing other coaches. So strategically, what I did in order to scale my business without me is I decided to bring in other coaches who can help run my business. Let's see if the color purple works well on this whiteboard here. So I brought in other coaches. So I hired coaches. Let's see if this works. Not really. So I'm gonna go back to black. But I hired other coaches, right? So I brought in other coaches to share different content and share different strategies on what would be effective inside of their businesses. So in our coaching program, this is a coaching program on how to launch a online business. That's what's $99 per month. So they spend $1,200 a year or $99 a month to have access to us. Now we had different price points, like I mentioned. And so what I did to start scaling my business is I hired other coaches. So I went to influencers and other coaches who have their own communities, and I created a win-win program with them where I communicated to them, hey, come into our coaching program. I'm currently doing coaching, and as of right now, it's only coaching every Friday. So the only time we do coaching in this weekly coaching program is every Friday. And to add value to my clients, to add value to them, I want to bring in other coaches. And the coaches, many times, they would say, what's in it for me to add value to your community? And one of the things that I recognize is that already many of my subscribers were going to some of these other coaches to work with on specific things. So for example, in my coaching program, I help people launch an online business and sell their online product on webinars. But there were other coaches who have like content coaching, right? They teach people how to build YouTube content, or they teach people how to use AI specifically. And some of those things weren't inside of my curriculum on our $99 a month program. So because of that, I collaborated with other coaches, giving them the opportunity to broadcast their message. Now, for the other coaches, what I shared with them is how they can double down on maximizing the content. So here's what I mean. I would go to a coach and I would say, hey, coach, I can pay you a fee and make sure that you get money from coaching. But on top of that, think about it this way. If you consistently coach inside of my community every week, that's a lot of content that you're creating. Instead of having to go and record a YouTube video, you can actually record yourself coaching and clip the content itself and showcase and broadcast that message to other people. So literally, I would go to coach number one. Let's say I'm talking to Bob, all right? And I would go to Bob and I would say, Bob has his own coaching program, and let's say he sells his own coaching program for X dollars a month, and Bob is already an expert in a specific field. Let's say Bob is an expert in social media content, like creating and posting social media content. So I would go to Bob and I'd say, hey, Bob, I'm the only coach right now in my program. I want to bring you in as a coach. I can pay you, but also I think this is going to be something really cool that we could do, is you, my friend, could actually create content every time that you coach, put a camera to the side, record that content, clip it for social media, which holds you accountable to creating social media content. Bob is like, you know what? Count me in. I need more social media content. I'm willing to coach in your community. And I would tell Bob, I said, Bob, you don't even have to do much of the work. All you got to do is show up on a Zoom call. I have automations that are built that will send out text messages, emails, and follow-up campaigns to get people onto the Zoom call, because they're already customers of mine, to get people onto the Zoom call so that way they can learn from you. And Bob is like, dude, sign me up. Let's go. All right, so that's one of the first things that I did, is I got other coaches to start coaching inside of the community, because my fulfillment, my time was these group coaching calls. So group coaching calls, I still do group coaching calls today, but I'm less involved in the coaching because I brought in other coaches. So today we have 4 or 5 coaches that coach for us on a weekly basis every single week that is coaching for us. That's number one. The number 2 thing that I did is I hired somebody to do pre-recorded coaching. And here's what I mean by that, pre-recorded coaching. And the pre-recorded coaching calls, I think, the pre-recorded calls, what that looks like is we use a software called Webinar Core. So we use Webinar Core. If you go to webinarcore.com, you'll check us out. So Webinar Core, we use that software to record it's an automated webinar platform. And specifically this automated webinar platform, what it does, it allows a teacher or the webinar host to record an automated webinar. Now, people many times use a webinar to sell a product or sell a service. What I did was I did something differently. I hired someone to record a workshop where they're teaching and coaching on how to use the technology that we sell inside of my coaching program. So I am a Go High Level reseller, and I have a Go High Level white label. My version is called Progretta, and I teach people how to use that technology to market their business, generate sales online, and close more deals. Now, what we did is we recorded a pre-recorded workshop. We recorded this workshop, and how we did it, we went on Zoom, we recorded the session, shared our screen, and showed someone on how to use it, how to use our technology, how to use our software, how to use our systems, how to run Facebook ads. We had a bunch of coaching sessions, and we recorded those sessions, and then we have that on automated replay, okay? And now we took what used to just be live, and now we have it on automated replay. So one of the ways that I scaled the coaching and added more value to my subscribers and to make sure that they stay with us is that we hired coaches. So we have 5 or so coaches with us today. And then plus we have pre-recorded trainings on webinarcore.com, which is a platform to use automated webinars. And then from there, we then created these automated workshops that happen almost every single day. I believe it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So almost every single day, there's a coaching session with this pre-recorded automated replay. So I had someone record it once. My wife tells me she's pregnant, and I'm like, okay, I need to start creating content. And it doesn't have to be me creating the content. Someone else can create the content. So what they did is they recorded on Zoom. They took that Zoom recording, uploaded it to Webinar Core, and now people can actually register every week to come and see this pre-recorded automated replay. Okay. So the weekly coaching that I did is essentially taken care of. Like, I don't even have to show up. Like, I can completely not show up to one of my coaching calls. And then from there, my team or my clients are still getting the value that they're paying for, which is getting coaching every single week. And there's a group of coaches that is taking care of their business. So my group coaching was essentially taken care of in this scenario, all right? So I'm gonna cross this out here. The next thing that we did is for one-on-one coaching calls. This was a challenge, but we ended up doing it. When you're scaling a business, the hardest thing to do is to start saying no. You gotta start saying no more often. The more you say no, the more money you make. There's like a certain level. If you're trying to get to 10K a month or even 20K a month, you're probably gonna do yes, yes, yes. Like, you gotta keep saying yes. Yes to opportunities, because you don't have a lot of opportunities. You get to $250,000 a year, which is a sweet spot for some people to start growing their business. You get to $250,000 a year, $21,000 a month, then you're gonna start saying no. And the more you say no to opportunities and you're strategic with your time, the more money you make. So here's what we ended up doing. So in our coaching program, we have a service that we charge $1,600 a month. So remember, I have like 3 plans here. I got $99, and then we have $497 in the middle. Okay, so $99 price plan, and what we do is we get the customer here, and then we upsell to this plan as they create more value and they grow their business. There's going to be more problems that we solve at this stage. And then at this stage, when they're in our middle plan, there's going to be more problems that we solve at our $1,600 a month program. Okay. So in our $1,600 a month program, we have customers who have access to one-on-one calls with me. Now, here's what those one-on-one calls with me. 3 years ago or so, I realized that when I offered monthly one-on-one calls with people, I was limited on how many customers I can get on the $1,600 a month plan. Okay. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, I had 10 customers on our $1,600 a month plan 3 years ago. This price point was probably like $897 a month. Now, when I offered one-on-one calls and I would say, Mr. Customer, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you can get access to one-on-one calls with me every single month, and it's already pre-scheduled, I would show up to these calls, and sometimes they won't have any questions, because in addition to the calls, they have courses, right? They have an online course. So many times the course took care of all their concerns already, which is the job of the course. But when I pre-scheduled the calls, I would get to the call sometimes, and then they would say, like, Andy, like, I'm good. Like, I'm doing everything you taught in the course. I don't even need a call with you anymore, because you laid it out like step by step inside the course, Andy. There's nothing I really got to ask you. Maybe look over my campaign. So I would look over their marketing campaign, and I would give them some tweaks, and then we would hop off the call. And I would do that time and time again, because I intentionally created my online courses to lay out the groundwork that someone needs to have a specific objective. So I intentionally added everything, all the templates, all the automations, all the build outs that someone would need inside of a course. I intentionally built it. And many times when someone would ask me a question, and if it's not in the course, either myself or my team will record the content and we'll add it to the course, so that way the next person doesn't have to ask that question, right? So we created an amazing online course. And in that online course, it lays out everything. So, but when I added the one-on-one calls, customers would come up to us, or members in our program would come up to us, and they'll say, hey, I don't really have much. So 3 years ago, I did something different where I said, you still get the calls with me. However, instead of a coaching call, we're going to call it a crisis call. And what the crisis call is when somebody has an issue, and an emergency, reach out to my team and we'll schedule your one-on-one crisis call. So you still have access to me one-on-one, just call me in the event of a crisis, okay? What we found was our courses did a good job on laying out the groundwork, laying out the foundation of what was needed. And then the crisis calls would come maybe once every 3 months or so. So I strategically set up my business to need less of me, right? So I went from one-on-one calls to everyone, you have access to me one-on-one, to, or every month you have access to me one-on-one, to get in contact with me when you have an issue and we'll address that issue, okay? And then before the crisis call, we would have them fill out a survey, answer what the challenges are, record a Loom video to explain to me so that way we can have maximum value on the call. Here's what we did because I'm taking back my time or I'm spending less time. We actually took away the crisis calls. So now we do not do crisis calls on our $1,600 a month program. What we did instead is we created an enterprise level plan. This is one of the ways that we grew and scaled our business. We created an enterprise level plan, which is $60,000 a year. It's $60,000 a year, and that one now has the one-on-one crisis call with me. So in the last 9 months or so, crisis call. In the last 9 months or so, we said, hey, in this plan, you're going to work with a customer relationship representative. So instead of working directly with Andy, we added what we call a CRR. This is a new term. A CRR is a customer relationship representative or client relationship representative, the person that is you have a relationship with. So instead of having coaching sessions with me, one-on-one calls with me, we put someone there in place, and that person works with this client or this member on a weekly basis to help them implement what they learned inside of the course and any additional services that we may be offering in part of the $1,600 per month plan, okay? So I went up market where the people who have access to my calendar now are on our enterprise plan. Now, it's important because as you grow and scale your business, what's the challenge that you're going to start facing is you're going to start facing time constraints. On the day that my wife was, like her water didn't break, we just had contractions. So on that day that my wife was going into labor, I was on a one-on-one crisis call on that day with one of our members. On that day, I was literally in the call and I was like, my friend, unfortunately, I got to go. And the reason for that is I want to share something with you. Like, as you grow and scale your business, there's personal things that you want to accomplish in your personal life. It could be spending more time with your kids. It could be spending time with your wife or your husband or traveling the world, whatever that your personal goal is. As you grow and scale your business, let's say that, for example, in the $1,600 a month plan, you have 100 customers. Let's just use that as an example. Now, this is not my current business. I don't have 100 customers in our $1,600 a month program. But let's just say with 100 customers, that to me is 100 one-on-one calls. If I did hey, just by joining our $1,600 a month program, you're going to get the one-on-one calls with me. So by doing the crisis call, and I cancel this out, and I only do one-on-one crisis calls, I go from 100 to maybe 8. Okay, I go from 100 to maybe 8. But in my business, even the 8 calls was starting to become a challenge or a conflict. Even just the 8 calls itself. So in this scenario, we went up market, and we said no more crisis calls on this plan. In order to do the crisis calls with me directly, you're paying $60,000 a month. But also my business changed, and a lot of the things that I learned and are implementing has completely changed in the last 3 years. So I implemented this 3 years ago where I would give my time on one-on-one calls for the $1,600 a month program. But then my business has changed, and I've added more value to the marketplace, and I have more resources and more tools and more systems and more education. Okay, so this is what we changed inside of the business in general. In general, the last thing that we did was the strategy. So I explained the one-on-one coaching calls. This is what was taking my time. The strategy now here's what we started to do differently. I answered questions. Well, before I scratch it, I'll leave it scratched out, but I'll still answer the strategy portion. For the strategy, what I started to do differently is I instantly started to create YouTube content. So now you can see that there was a focus on YouTube over the last year and a half or so, because YouTube, the value of YouTube is I'm able to create content for a couple of people. The first group of people that I'm able to create content for is the potential buyers, potential customers that I have, okay? So in the potential buyers, there's a pool of people that are watching this current YouTube video and even future YouTube videos and even my past YouTube videos that have never purchased anything from me, and they are potential buyers. So those people are people that I call, that I'm building awareness of. So there's awareness that's being created. Okay, there's awareness that's being created there. So I created YouTube content, but in addition to that, regular YouTube videos, YouTube content for potential buyers. Then on top of this, I created videos for my current customers. So rather than them coming to me and me doing a one-on-one call or even a group call, my current customers can actually get training from my YouTube videos. So I have a ton of private videos and public videos that's available on YouTube. The last one, this was huge for my staff. For my staff. And here's the value for my staff. And this one blew my mind. My staff started to get trained on my philosophy. So as my business started to grow and I was less involved in the business, I was doing less trainings in my company. And because of that, my team needed direction on how we can service our customers in different strategic methods. So how can we do, like, for example, a webinar? How do we fill up a webinar? And in order for my team to have the same cohesive message, so for example, a member on my tech team and a member on my customer support team, they're two different departments. They don't work together every week or every day, but they need to have the same cohesive message. So my CRR in one of my companies, in one of my brands here, my CRR, my client relationship representative, she saw a challenge. And I said, what was your challenge? She said, hey, the customers are coming in. They've studied your content, but some members on the team have not studied your content. And so I made it now where even the staff, the YouTube videos are also for the staff. So YouTube is there to train potential customers, train current customers on different strategies, different ideas, different techniques, different methods, and also train my staff here. So by doing this, I am now taken out of the role, okay? So I'm taken out of a lot of the things that took my time. So if we look at where my time was originally spent before having a baby, my time was doing these one-on-one calls, these group coaching calls, and these strategy calls. From there, instead of me having to do all of these myself, I now delegated and leveraged, and I pulled these different levers. So for the one-on-one coaching calls, rather than me doing the one-on-one coaching calls, I stopped the coaching calls myself, and I put somebody else in place to hold them accountable, which is the CRR, the client relationship representative. I put those people, that person in place to have them and hold them accountable to go through our online course, right? And to make sure that we're servicing their account. So in our $1,600 a month program, there's a course that's involved, and there's services that we offer. They actually don't need me. And you may identify that yourself. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're an agency owner, many times your customer doesn't need you. They just need your company to deliver on a promise. There was a time that my belief system was that they need me. I'm even questioning on our enterprise plan if they even need me. I don't think they need me on our enterprise plan, but I'm spending time there to learn the challenges and the do's and the don'ts. So they don't need me here. So I put a client relationship representative there. And what's cool about the CRR is we have multiple in our company. So that makes this unlimited scalability. I can go and get 100 customers that pay $1,600 a month because I can hire more CRRs, and the CRRs is going to hold them accountable to go through our course and then make sure that they're serviced inside of our company, right? Rather than me being part of that, right? Now, the next thing, the CRR is what replaced the one-on-one coaching calls for me. So I don't do one-on-one coaching calls for anymore. And I don't even do one-on-one crisis calls. Now, anyone who purchased this plan before I made these changes, we honored those crisis calls. So I still will be open to doing crisis calls for the members who are on this plan, but it's just moving forward. So all of our recent subscribers do not get this, okay? Now, the YouTube content takes care of my strategy. So when I'm strategizing content, well, the challenge that my team was facing is like a tech person may have a different strategy in mind. A customer support representative may have a different strategy in mind. To get them all on the same page, I create YouTube content and I disseminate it to my team, and then my team follows the content, and now they're able to understand what Andy's talking to potential buyers about, current customers about, and now my staff. So the biggest thing that allowed me to really scale my business, $142,000 a month, with a newborn baby, only working 3 hours a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and less than 4 hours per day is this entire blueprint that I just shared with you. It's about the time, your time. So here, originally doing one-on-one coaching calls, I don't do that anymore, all right? Or group coaching calls, I've hired coaches and brought in other coaches that they found value. And then me being the main strategist, I am still the strategist. The only way though is through the YouTube content. So I create one video, spend 1 hour during Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? So I only choose Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I come into the studio that I'm in right now, and part of my 4-hour work week, or part of my 4-hour work day, is recording this YouTube video. After I record this YouTube video, I may have like one high important meeting for the team with my staff, and then that's it for the day. And then I go spend time with my daughter and my wife. All right. So if this is valuable to you, in the comment box, I would love for you to let me know what you took away and what was valuable for you. And if you want to learn more about implementing the system inside your business, down below in the description, you can actually book a call with a member of my team who will show you how you can do the same exact thing and how my company can actually support you. I'll see you on the next video.